Unmute ka.
So I'm the only one without the template. Okay.
Sorry, though, or
Saturday.
You need to rest. You need to rest, understand or no?
emergency. How to do?
Okay, we are going to start.
Wait. I will get my tie. I'll put on my tie to be formal.
I can take it off. To be formal. Okay, everyone. A very warm welcome, basically, onto the 10th episode of the ELSA TV show. I am Dr. Sajid Malik, your host on this TV show, and with me is Professor Rakesh Gupta from Nepal, and he's joining me as a co-host. I will let him to introduce himself as well as the both of our distinguished guests as well, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sajid. Thank you for involving me here. I am Rakesh. I am from Nepal. I work in BP Koirala Institute of Health Science. So I run the Department of MIS and General Surgery. For last 20 years. So first I would like to introduce Professor Vimal Kumar Vasudevan. He's from Malaysia, Penang. He's one of our esteemed society member of ELSA and now going to be the next president-elect of ELSA. He done his higher study from National University of Malaysia, UKM. Now he's running the Department of Minimal Invasive Surgery and General Surgery in Penang, the east side of Malaysia, and he's running starting the laparoscopic and robotic surgery, doing a lot of robotic surgery also now these days. He's the president of SELSMA, the Laparoscopic Society of Malaysia, and president of Malaysian Hernia Society, and he's very actively involved in the ELSA outreach program and training the young generations. Then I would like to introduce Professor Ellen Alfred Bunafe. He's from Philippines, from Manila. Prof is the past president of ELSA. Now he's running. He's I think more than 2 decades he's involved in ELSA outreach OP. Everybody in the Asia and beyond that border know him as one of the leader and mentor in teaching especially the minimal invasive surgery. He's heading the Philippines Center for Advanced Surgery, and he's head of department of Cardinal Sentosa Medical Center. So with this, I would hand over the mic to Dr. Sajid Malik.
Thank you, Rakesh. I think we'll start with the thing today. The very interesting topic of the talking about the global education in surgery and where we are in Asia, how far we are, and what exactly we are doing in Asia. And we are hearing a lot of news about the globalization, colonization, decolonization in terms of the surgical education. As far as I know, being the part of the ELSA team, ELSA outreach program under the hand of Professor Vimal and Professor Ellen, along with Professor David Lumando, we in the ELSA team is working very hard in terms of providing outreach programs, in terms of providing surgical education. I'll start with Professor Vimal in asking about when we say that we are working in ELSA as an outreach programs, as a non-profit organization and going into each and every country from Cambodia to Sri Lanka to Mongolia to the other end to the Japan. At the same time, the policymakers are doing their jobs individually into the countries. And What do you think where we are in the ELSA, in the outreach program, in providing health education to our colleagues, our juniors, our young surgeons? Prof, you're mute. You're mute.
Thank you, Sajid, for
Yeah.
involving me in this ELSA TV program. And thank you, Rakesh, too, for the warm introduction. Hi to Alan. So, yes, in terms of this ELSA outreach program, I have been involved personally in the last few years. But we must pay tribute to Alan and David, who actually started and coined this term ELSA outreach program, took it to the far reaches of Asia, the countries as deep as Myanmar. They have been to the furthest extremes of India, places like Ladakh, Kashmir, and Thailand, Indonesia. Okay, so I joined them in the last 2 to 3 years, and it has been an adventure, going to deeper recesses of Asia and looking at the next generation of surgeons, staying with them, imparting some knowledge about minimally invasive surgery, and watching their growth, bringing them back, teaching training them to be trainers
Yeah.
themselves. So it has been a very, I would say, a very happy involvement for me. I've seen the benefits of teaching and training,
Mm.
and indirectly, it has helped me in my own pursuit of doing a similar program for Malaysian surgeons who live in the districts and interiors. So I try to follow the blueprint started by Alan and David to ELSA. I try to do in the Malaysian context. So the some of the misconceptions we all know when it comes to surgery, when you talk about surgery to patient, half of them disappear because they have fear of surgery. And Asia is a very diverse society.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have hundreds of languages, economic disparity. Nowhere else in the world you will see. So all these are challenges which we have faced. So I think ELSA has done well to reach into the depths of Asia, in terms of training.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. I'm going to ask the similar question to Prof. Allen as well, the about misconception. When we go, especially to you, when you travel a lot to the different countries, you travel a lot to the South Asia, Central Asia, Far East Asia. There is always a misconception about the societies. There is a misconception about the outreach program from the policymakers or the policy holders. Like this is a society. But where does the ELSA stand in providing to health education and to clear the concept and to delete the misconception of providing actual the health education as being a non-profit organization in whole Asia?
Well, initially, when we started the ELSA outreach program in 2010, 2011, there's a lot of misconception on how the society would come in and would help the country. There's a lot of misconception that the society would, help out in purchasing or providing for the lab towers and everything. But through the years, when we started off in Myanmar, to my mind and the way I feel, the most successful program, although we're quite sad about what's happening in Myanmar now. Let me move out from this room. I'm in the OR. Uh, let me move out. So it's quite a little bit noisy. Anyway, when we started off in Myanmar, there's a lot of things that's happening. Quite sadly, with all the political tensions within the country, all the successes that we had in Myanmar are not seen. But then again, if you look on when we started in that country, no one's doing laparoscopy.
Mm.
But now, all of the hospitals, regardless if it's private or government hospital, all of the surgeons are doing laparoscopic surgeries, and a lot of them are going into subspecialties because of the work that we've done when we started off going there. It's not just actually me and David. I think it's the collective work of ELSA as a society. I can remember the likes of, I think, all of the originators of ELSA were there to
Yeah.
help out. So I think the misconception, the biggest misconception is the society providing the tools, the lab towers and everything. What we're providing is actually the education. And I think that's the biggest contribution that we had. If you remember the book that we made,
Yeah.
the first book,
I was.
I got it actually from David. It's from Sun Tzu. Remember, if you want to be remembered, right? Plant a tree. But if you want to be remembered forever, teach
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest
Mm.
contribution that ELSA has given
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Asia.
Yeah. I remember when you and David Lumanto came into Pakistan in Lahore in 2012. First time I received you at the airport. So that was like
Yeah.
13 years ago. Time has flown, and that was 13 years ago to do the first MIS workshop ever in Pakistan. That was the first outreach program in Pakistan for the
Yeah.
ELSA.
In Lahore,
In
right?
Lahore, we did. Yeah.
And look at you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
That's
what
the first
the
time. No, it is.
workshop
It's
has
the
done for
teamwork.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Starting from scratch to doing fellowship in MIS and then doing robotic and then working into the MIS
very true.
completely. So that is, I put myself as an example of the ELSA outreach program. So I was identified by the ELSA outreach program. So, no, thank you so much. Thank you. And to both of you, I have a question further to this. Like going to different countries, there are a lot of hurdles, not only in terms of economics, cost, language, and technical issues. So, how do you think that how we can overcome, or anyone who would like to join the ELSA outreach program from the member countries or the as an individual, how they can cope with the thing and how you are coping in terms of the providing these educational programs.
I think with with regards to language barrier, we saw this when we went to Central Asia.
Mm, mm.
When we went to did an outreach program in
In
Uzbekistan,
Uzbekistan,
you know,
last to last year. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I
But
remember.
it is only a barrier if you consider it a barrier. To me, it was quite adventurous, trying to talk, having a translator intervene. And then we realized, hey, we need to know a little bit of the language. And nowadays, with our AI, we can quite easily translate our topics of discussion. So initially, it was difficult. It looked insurmountable. When you're giving lecture, you start speaking and then somebody has to translate. So it takes double the time to do your presentations and
Exactly.
go into late evening, into night.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah,
we realized, hey, it's quite fun. In the theater also, it was challenging.
yeah,
I did
yeah,
surgeries there,
yeah,
and you're asking for instruments. People don't understand, so you have somebody translate.
interpreting.
So you overcome that. You make sure all the instruments are in front of you, and then start pointing.
Yeah,
You know. So you work
absolutely.
with the very basic things. I remember I did a laparoscopic fundoplication for hiatus hernia with reflux. Okay. Then when I went there, we are so used to with all our instruments and lab towers and all that. And suddenly they didn't have basic sutures. And I say, hey,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
don't have. Then you have to reach backwards to your own experience. They have silk.
exactly. Old school.
Okay.
Back to old school to go with
Yeah,
the
old school.
what
So
we
we
have
use
learned
silk to
exactly.
do fundoplication. I haven't done that for many, many years, but it's okay.
Mm.
You can think backwards, and in effect, it makes you a better surgeon as well. So language
Absolutely.
is one. Then the second one is definitely in Asia is the affordability cost is another big
Mm.
issue.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think what ELSA has done, I remember seeing in Uzbekistan itself, they brought a lot of endo trainers, laparoscopic
Yeah.
endo trainers, to train the local surgeons. And at the end of the course, we left it there for them
Yeah,
to continue developing.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
in some ways, I think ELSA can help.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. What do you think, Prof. Allen, about the same thing, like getting hurdles in because you are leading the outreach programs in ELSA, and what do you think you are facing the hurdles and the difficulties in providing education in Asia in these outreach programs?
Come again?
What do you think? What difficulties you are facing as a team in ELSA outreach program when you go to the different countries in terms of your contribution, in terms of the cost, language, technicalities, and the equipment? So, do you think that we and how we can overcome these problems?
When we started off, especially during the first few workshops that we did, there's a lot of difficulty. First of all, you have to remember when we started off in Myanmar, laparoscopy is they never heard of laparoscopy. So bringing in the towers, bringing in all the instruments, like what Vimalab said,
Yeah,
bringing in the trainers, the train box, the trainer box,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
quite
yeah.
it's a whole orchestra,
Mm,
as we would say, and there's a lot of funny stories actually behind the scene funny stories like we're carrying 10 boxes of instruments and things that you need, even the lap towers. We were like,
mhm.
and then coming into each country, you have to fight off with customs. We have to. It, it's really a, but
I know, I know.
yeah,
It's something to both
it's
end.
fun. It's fun.
Actually, it's come to the both end as well. When the team came to the Pakistan in Lahore, I know I have to use my own personal connections at the airport to the immigrations to
Very
clear
true.
the things and a lot of things involved and to expedite the things. It's for educational purpose. Yeah.
And
It's beautiful.
sometimes our people would, they stop our people from coming in because of, the customs will say you're trying to smuggle things inside the country.
Yeah, of
And
course. If everything is
bringing those
legalized and through a
instruments
proper
out
way,
again. Yes.
of course, but through the proper channel, yeah, of course, of
Any dangerous stories, Alan?
course.
Well, actually, coming off, I think the biggest dangerous story was, coming off from, we're traveling at the northern part of India, just across the border of
Mm,
Pakistan and India.
mm, mm,
So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
traveling from Srinagar going to Leh. So every town that we would cross, there's a lot of, outposts, uh, and police and army people are
Checkpost, yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
So
mm,
every town that we cross, we're always stop and that they're trying to look at our
mm,
faces. Yeah, you have to remember David looks very Caucasian and I'm very Asian. And then who was there? Jaideep. Jaideep
yeah,
very
yeah,
Indian. So
yeah.
there's a lot of
Fun.
issues.
Nice.
But it's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's the love of teaching
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and the love of adventure.
Mm,
But it's more of teaching actually.
mm,
And
mm,
when we were in Le, so it's one of the highest areas where we've taught how to do
mm.
laparoscopy. And
Yeah.
there was this question, and they were asking us, what's the difference in doing surgery for example, in the Philippines and in Le? And I was like jokingly said, because of because of the high altitude, lo and behold, the anesthesiologist from Le uh, told us there's actually a big difference because the amount of anesthesia that you're giving in a patient in a high altitude operating area is quite different from a low altitude area. You
Absolutely,
give more.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
there's a lot
yeah,
of changes. You need to understand also it, it's an exciting adventure for us.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I will go ahead with the next segment of education in Asia and empowerment with Dr. Rakesh, please.
Yeah, thank you, Sadi. Just adding a word to Prof. Allen. I mean, the physiology of the people living in the mountain is different. So, I mean, what we face here, we have published one article looking for the recovery and complication in the people living in high altitude and people living in the plain. This is a different. Is a different. Thank you very much, Prof. Allen, for bringing this. So my question to Prof. Vimal, like we go to the area, I mean, we select our ELSA OP program, we go in there and we go out, we came out from there with the design of our program. So how you ensure that what we teach there in the OP program, the knowledge remains there in that country or society or the area where we went there.
Okay, so this is very important. It should not be just go in and
Yeah.
come out and say that we have been in and out. No, that doesn't establish any continuity at all. So the thing is to go in, stay, teach, learn, and then train the trainers. So repetition of repeat going back to the same country, repeat workshops are important. I think Elsa has done that, especially like Myanmar and places in India and all that. They have gone repeatedly and they have trained the surgeons there. In fact, they have gone, when we do our ELSA annual congress, we bring them back, often with a support travel grant, free registration, so that these surgeons can come and attend the annual congress. And from there, I think people have gone on to organize their own congress, isn't it? Like Uzbekistan, they had the ELSA Spring Congress 2 years ago. We wanted to make sure that it is a very small thing. But when we went there, we had about 1,000 participants, which shocked the daylights out of us. We never expected. There is such a
Absolutely.
thirst for knowledge in these parts, just that they don't have access to it. So we go, we stay, we do surgeries with them, we conduct lectures with them, and then we keep in touch with them. When difficult cases, they will liaise with us, ask for advice, and then they attend conferences organized by us. So, and then going back again. So all this encourages a pathway for growth for these surgeons. I think that's very important, an important role that ELSA has played.
If I may add, we all know that when we started the program, me and Davida were talking with each other. We know that it's going to be a hit and a miss program. Sometimes you'll hit it, sometimes you'll miss it. So the idea was to be able to identify somebody who will lead in each country. So every time we go to one country, we just don't go there. We would always talk with one leader who would lead the program in that country. We all know that even if you teach to 100 people, if there's no one who's going to lead the program, I think it's going to be a waste of time. And true enough, through the years that we've been doing it, we're able to identify those leaders. And I think that's the main point when we're doing our program.
Mm, mm,
So yeah, thank you. So that is my next question. How do you identify the local host person and which continue the drive of change which you imparted on that society?
Well, at first, actually, when we started the Myanmar program, there's a very nice story. Davide then was being inducted uh, as an honorary fellow for PCS for the Philippines, and during the PCS conventions, we invite all the key leaders for each country in the ASEAN area because of the ASEAN program. Uh, I think we were lucky during that time, during the uh, convocation and the uh, induction of David as a honorary fellow. He was seated beside Tun U. Tun U is a professor from Myanmar, a surgeon who is the leader in Myanmar. And they were talking with each other. And after his induction as a honorary fellow, he told me, Alan, we already know somebody from Myanmar, and uh, we invited ourselves. We were invited to Myanmar actually to do the program, and right after that, several talks, several email, and the video actually went to Myanmar to talk with the people with the surgical society in Myanmar, and we were able to do it. Likewise, in some other countries, we would identify the leaders or the champions for the program. We would introduce to them the program that we have done in Myanmar so far, and we would just repeat the same formula that we have done in Myanmar, and it proved to be effective. In some areas where uh, the adoption of the program is not that good, then we would look for other champions and repeat again the process until some people would adopt the program.
Thank you, Prof. So the next question to the panel is, like, we are training the next generation, but how we make sure that they retain their surgical talent in the future?
If you look at Asia, uh, most of the countries in Asia, the healthcare system is divided into public sector and the private sector mainly. And the universities also come as a public sector. So often people start out in the public sector and work there for a number of years, gain experience, and subsequently move on to the private sector. This is in the country. Some leave the country. So there are push and pull factors. So the push factors, obviously, not getting promotion, not earning enough to maybe have a better life for themselves and their family, based on the years of sacrifice they have done, not progressing career-wise. So all these are the push factors which push people out. So if you want to look at strategies to keep people, you have to manage the push and pull factors. The private sector is offering larger pay, better income, better career growth. Going overseas, maybe better career growth. So you have to offer them, as a young surgeon, you must have a plan for them. They are new, they are young, they have no idea what to do in their lives. So if you give them an opportunity, have a proper career path, that will be satisfactory to them. Some may stay. If you give them opportunity to learn, participate like this ELSA outreach program, or they get to attend conferences, regionally, and have the ability to publish, participate in researchers, that may make some happy, And then if a monetary gain they can get in the government sector, that will keep some back also. So these are the factors, in my opinion, that you have to look at the strategies.
Prof. Ellen, your view on this talent migration?
Come again? Sorry.
What is your view on this talent migration?
Ah, I think in a lot of countries like Philippines, like Pakistan,
Nepal
uh,
also.
yeah, third world countries, it's always a problem. Not only for, I think it's not, it's more about, what the surgeon can get economically. We all know we still have to support our family. And surgery, uh, it's a means of providing for our family, and obviously we would always look for greener pastures. Best example, Sajid used to work in Lahore, right? And because of his exposure after his fellowship in Singapore, obviously young surgeons like Sajid would always look for better opportunities, not only in terms of financial, but also uh,
The
trying
learning
to, getting more education for himself.
and
So it's
experience as
always
well.
not until each country would be able to provide
Mm.
financially, educationally, and technically.
Technically as well, yeah.
Yeah,
If you
not
cannot deliver,
until,
yeah, exactly. For
yeah,
if I give you my example, if you cannot deliver what you have learned, like if you have
yeah,
learned robotic surgery, doing a TEP and everything, you go back, you don't have the instrument to do the surgery, you
very
waste your own
true,
skills completely until you get it, and then you install it, keep on
very
doing
true.
it somewhere, and then do it.
So
Yeah.
actually, that's the biggest problem for ELSA
Mm.
as a society.
Mm.
If you look on other laparoscopic societies in the world, they don't have that much problem,
Mm.
like Europe, like Americas. In Asia, we all know that we have some of the the richest country and the poorest of the countries within our region.
In
You have
our
to
region, yeah,
remember, Asia composed at least 60% of the population of the world.
of the world, even more than that.
Yeah, and all the inequalities can be seen in Asia.
Um,
Laparoscopic cholecystectomy during the early times is not the gold standard in Pakistan, not the gold standard in Myanmar when we first started. But we
yeah,
all know
yeah,
lap chole is the gold standard for benign gallbladder diseases. So that's
mm,
the purpose of the outreach program on how
mm,
to be able to equalize and be able to make a bridge to be able to equalize all these inequalities. We have to remember, geopolitically, we're very different.
yeah,
So all the I think the religion in the world can be seen in Asia.
yeah,
Economically, we're very different. Okay, what may be gold standard in Singapore may not be the gold standard in the Philippines, even in Japan. So
yeah,
totally different. So these are the things that we need to look at. Even payment of surgical services may be different from each other countries. So migration of talents from each country is a real problem. Not only in surgery, nurses. The number one problem in the Philippines is we always lose our nurses every year. Why? Because they migrate to either Singapore, United States, or even Europe. So these are the it's a very real problem. And not until each country would be able to answer this one, it's still going to be a problem in the future.
Actually, one of the most important things this outreach program has taught a lot of surgeons we have reached out to is that they needn't be in a big hospital in a capital to be doing these kind of surgeries, laparoscopic surgery, simple hernia, gallbladder disease. Within their framework, within their system, they have the power to exact change in this area.
mm,
So I think that is the confidence they needed, and which through the program, ELSA has given.
yeah, absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you both of you. So the next question to Prof. Bunafe, I mean, continuing with this inequality and the cost difference between Asia and other country, how we change how we change our technique or some innovative modality so we can help the society, and how much our society ELSA has progressed in that. To Prof. Ellen.
I'm sorry, Rakesh.
I will repeat, Prof. I know. Like continuing with your remarks on inequality and cost. So how we go for this innovations, some innovations of high quality and low cost, which we are imparting in your country and to our society.
There's a lot. There's a lot of innovations that we can do. Like, for example, the simplest one would be uh, the tie. Okay. We all know that when you're doing your lap chole or even your appendectomy in Singapore, you'd always ask for a loop, right?
Yeah.
So you just ask for a loop, regardless of how many loops you use, it's okay, right? Because system, health system in Singapore would cover for it. But if you go to like Nepal, Philippines, there's, one loop would cost you like how much? 200 US dollars. So obviously you wouldn't want to use it. So now we're teaching our students on how to do your roder's knot and how to make use of that 2-0 for closure, and the end of it, just do a roder's knot and you can do your own loop. Uh, Specimen bag. In the Philippines, when we first started doing lab chole, the specimen bag that we're using is condom. So it's always a joke. All the laparoscopic surgeons would carry condom because we're safe surgeons. But then again, you can make use of that because condoms are sterilized, and you can use it as a bag for the specimen. So there's a lot. I think, as they say, difficulty in procuring uh, makes up for ideas. You come up with different ideas just to be able to cope up with technology.
I remember even in the era of the TEPs, initially they had that spacer
The
device,
balloon.
balloon. Now
Balloon.
nobody is producing them anymore because everybody has been trained to use the telescope to create space. I think this
Yes.
came from Asia.
Yeah.
Actually, the suction irrigator, you cut the fingers of the gloves and then you tie it up, and then either you fill it with the air or saline, and then now you have a balloon. So these are the innovations. I think the innovations would always come if necessity. Out of necessity, then you make some innovations.
Yeah. My
Absolutely.
own personal experience when it came to hernia, I started this hands-on program way back about 15 years ago. So I used to visit surgeons in the district hospitals, stay with them for 2 nights, and then take them through hernia surgery, TAPP, simple with the basic instruments. And over the years, I've seen many surgeons come up from that one simple surgery. They have become champions in laparoscopic surgery. So simple surgery taken to them, taught in their own environment, is better, I think, than bringing them to you all the time. So you can go to the trainee. So
Absolutely.
yeah, these innovations you get by thinking outside the box as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you both of you. So Sajid, you will continue.
Yeah. I'll just ask because we from the discussion so far that we have learned is like we do face a lot of difficulties technically, equipment wise, and geographically because of there is a lot of problems. Um, as Prof. Allen mentioned about the research in between as well, when we are talking about the Asia, there is a diversity in terms of the practice, ethical practice, according to the law, because one procedure probably is valid in one country, according to and then second procedure is not considered as a valid procedure in a second country. So as the Europe and the America and as IEHS, they have made their own guideline, which is valid in all 36 countries, 32 countries in across the Europe. So where we are in terms of when we talk about the globalization, in Asia, where we are in providing education in terms of developing our own guidelines, research. If we are teaching someone like a procedure or some educational program, what is the feedback in terms of the audit? Like, have they learned it? Have they published it? Where we are? So, Prof. Allen, to you first, like, what do you think where we are and what are the hurdles and how we can overcome this problem? Prof.
The
Allen?
question goes to me or Vimal?
Yeah. May Prof. Vimal if answer, please. Yeah, either of you, please.
I think I can start first while
Yeah,
Alan.
please.
Okay, so this is an area of concern if you are in Asia. Uh, Again, in this area also, there's great disparity in Asia. If you go to places like Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Korea, Singapore, there is an encouragement to publish, do research, publication, you're rewarded for doing this in terms of promotion, financial and otherwise. But most other countries, and I must admit, even Malaysia also is a bit back on this. This is something we are trying to fight. Most of the surgeons, at least whom I know and personally, we think that working and becoming a good surgeon is enough because our workload is heavy. We tend to hide behind our work and say we have no time to publish. And so what happens is we use data or recommendation from somebody who's not at all aware of our geographical problems. So they will tell you
Absolutely.
you must use this kind of a mesh, you must use this kind of a tacker, this kind
Yeah.
of a stapler, and it's not available. So what does that
Yeah.
mean? They cannot do? Does that mean
Even the
that
cost, even the cost of the mesh would be equal to the cost of surgery in one country.
correct. So, this kind of registries or data collection and all that needs to come from Asia, for Asia, you know. And I think ELSA or societies like ELSA has to start thinking of these kind of issues,
Yeah,
whether we can
absolutely.
collect data from different countries, underdeveloped countries, because developed countries have their own registry, everything, not an issue. They mimic the West, but the others, we need to have a collection data, make it easy for the surgeons doing to be able to collect data. We help them to process the data, tell them,
Yeah,
oh, this is how it is. Maybe this is where we lack, and this is where
yeah,
we need to show leadership.
absolutely. I
So
agree with you.
ELSA is a
Very true.
society not only for the big countries, it also be a society for the small countries in Asia.
Yeah,
Very true. Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I do agree with Vimal. 20, 30 years ago, all the countries actually were looking on and we're always studying papers and studies coming off from first world countries. Okay. So
Absolutely.
but the results of those studies may not be true for our own geography. It's a very different. If you look, I think the best example is if there's a recommendation for obesity, right? So recommendation for obesity for Western patients are totally different for Asians. Why? Because our body habitus is different.
Absolutely. It's
So the
absolutely different.
recommendations will always be different.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and owing to the fact that Asia is composed of at least 60% of the world population, then we should have our own data. But
Absolutely.
it's quite, it's easier said than done. First world countries, government would usually push for those data and would support the data collection and everything. You have to remember, doing studies like this one would cost a lot.
Yeah.
And this is I think, the setback for third world countries, which I think is the majority of Asian countries.
Mm.
And I think as a society, as a society, this is where we can lead. We can push on how to come up and consolidate all those data coming off from all the countries within Asia. And we
Mhm.
can start with the Asia Pacific area.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Start small and then make
Yeah,
it bigger. But
absolutely.
again, easier said than done.
Yeah. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And do you think that Prof. Allen, again to you, do you think that we are lacking in providing the guidelines to the countries? Because as a team, as an outreach program team, we are going to every country and we can very easily bring those guidelines to the champions of those countries to say, look, this is the way how to do the things, and providing a book, as we know about the book, like it's a kind of like a guidelines. So but we can have like a certain set of guidelines, like to say, this is not by me, this is not by you, this is by the consensus committee, to say that this have to be this thing, like an algorithm.
Yeah.
What do you think? It's like an educational program for the ELSA.
Uh, you are right. And I think the work that has to be done is quite enormous. And
Absolutely.
I think we have already planted the seeds for more educational programs for the young ones in ELSA. And I think it's people like you who would be the future of ELSA and would be coming up with those guidelines. And I think as a society, it's very true. And it's a real, I think it's one of the solutions that can come up, that we can come up with as a society, uh, consolidating all those evidences and coming up with our own guidelines as an Asia Pacific area
Yeah,
guideline.
yeah.
And
Just
I
to
think,
ask.
like what we do for hernia. There's a
yeah,
guideline for
exactly.
Asia Pacific Hernia Society as
Yeah,
opposed to guidelines coming off from Europe and
yeah,
Americas. And we're now I think ELSA is one of the strongest society in the world.
in the
We're one
world.
of the
Yeah,
Yeah.
leaders.
leading.
The Hernia Essential Program is the example of what you are saying, Sajid.
Mm.
It's very
Yeah,
successful. It's very simple program, and the fact that the APHS is taking it around, and APHS is mostly a lot of us only in the society as well.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I will just ask one more question before giving a mic to the Rakesh to ask. I remember the COVID have given us the biggest opportunity to be more uh, globalized in terms of like modernization,
Connected.
in terms of moving I was a fellow with Professor Lumento at that time, and we were thinking about the name, and then we said, okay, let's make it like ICC committee and all these things. So we said it like what shall I say, is digitalization of the ELSA. Completely we digitalize it. So there was a big debate between you, Professor Vimal, Professor Allen, and the rest of the committee about who is going to protect the data. And then luckily it's Apple and the Google is the one who have provided the platform we are using at the moment. But where we are in terms of when we are providing the education to these countries, are you forcing up, as you said, we are the biggest society in the world now. We in according to the as if you go with the sages and other societies as well. Do you think that we are going to face the biggest challenges into the future in terms of providing education, because it's going to be more and more IT based? And what should be the problems we should be prepared into the future?
I think this in the era where we are connected, we have to use this to our advantage as well. We are doing programs, outreach programs. So sometimes we are not able to go, or you can save time, or continuity. You see, so we can reach out by doing Zoom webinars like what we are doing. The ELSA TV is educating all the surgeons around Asia, so we can see the growth of your viewership also over the
Mm,
years. So these are all positive things, so we can use that. But I think the basic thing of going to the surgeon, staying, talking, listening, and having a dinner or sit down and have a drink with him, all this also matters,
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes,
Being,
I
being
think
into
the
the,
trick is
yeah,
to marry
exactly.
both.
Yeah, absolutely. Rakesh, please.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, just to add something, I mean, the data from the Asia and publication from the Asia, especially from our side, it's the need of the day to make a big impact in the in the global world. We must come out with the publications and research and data. There is no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
my next question to Professor Vimal, like you have saw our country, I mean Nepal, there is very limited amount of internet connection, especially in the remote area. So how we help them to synchronize this video learning from this video learning process? Like
I
most
think,
of the time,
yeah. So,
now we are seeing most surgery in the YouTube or other things.
yeah. So
We
if
would always be.
connectivity is an issue,
Mm.
then go back, rewind yourself when there was not much connectivity to all of us. Videos, CDs, we can put them in a pen drive, send to them, modules of teaching, videos can be sent, offline learning, these are all the techniques we can follow. Yes, I'm sure in relation to connectivity, things will get better and improve.
Mm, mm.
So I think this is the way. What do you
Yeah.
think, Alan? Anything else you think?
Yeah, I think connectivity would always be dependent on how each country would be able to cope up with technological advances. But then again, uh, it's always going to go there. Uh, some other countries would go as fast as, like, if you look at China, a few years back, China has been lagging on technology, but now I think China's, mm, I
Way
think,
ahead of them.
leading way ahead of everyone. China came up with the 5G, where uh, people are just imagining it. But then again, if you look on other countries, they're also trying to cope up. Obviously, it would come up to a point where everyone would always be equalizing everything. But then again, as an educational platform for ELSA, like what Vimal have said, we can come up with programs like video-based, internet-based, and that's how we can support countries like Nepal, Cambodia.
I think Elsa has plans on
Yeah,
libraries, VR
yeah, I
module.
would. Yeah, I was about
We
to.
are recording videos on VR where the
Absolutely,
surgeons watching can
absolutely.
actually be part of the OR
Environment.
environment, correct?
Absolutely. I was just about to add on all the data onto the ELSA. It's onto the ELSA website is linked. We have a KLO lab. We have a VR lab. We have the ELSA webinars. Everything. So ELSA is the one of the leading. I remember the member societies in Europe and America. They have started digitalization after ELSA have started the
Yeah.
digitalization. So if you go to the library of the ELSA, our
Congratulations to
MP,
you.
thank you, no, thank you to the whole team. I love Professor Allen to say, it's not you, it's not me, it's we. So it's always about, it's not me, it's we. So we just need to change M with the W. So
Yeah.
it's
Long
all good.
ago, we all decided that this area should be given to the young guys.
Yeah, no.
Remember,
Well,
Alan?
you have to look also on trying to identify the young guns now.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to
absolutely.
remember, yeah, all the people that are working within ELSA are
Mm,
always the usual suspect.
yeah,
So I think it's high
absolutely.
time, yeah,
Yeah,
high time
yeah.
for giving the mantle and giving the
Mm.
the
And a career pathway as well. It's a globalization and the global education is for a surgeon is a career pathway as well. Like I'm not saying a full-time job, but a like at least a co-career job. Yeah, please, Rakesh.
Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, just adding to that, I mean, like now we are running this program online, very less number of visitor. But if we see the offline number, how many times our video, operative video or lectures has been used, it's a very, very high number. So we know that people are using this platform as a learning process. But just a slight word of caution is that you do not learn most of the complex surgery, like you learn tar from the YouTube and other area and then go to your theater and perform. So that is, I mean, we must take with a pinch of salt about this social media. A question to Prof. Ellen is, I mean, for more than 2 decades, you are visiting with the ELSA. So, in your view, which country among us in the Asia has make more progression in terms of surgery, I mean, obstetric care and anesthesia plan? And what is our next key lesson from them?
Mm, I would love to say the best example for that would be Myanmar. Myanmar during that time was like close, it's a close country. It only opened in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, when the global embargo for Myanmar was lifted by the United States. Then that's where we really prosper and saw, the growth of Myanmar from a very fledgling country, very backward. As we, when every time we go to Myanmar during the first 2 3 years, you'd see the biggest difference from, when we went there. It's quite funny. Me, Davide, and all the guys, we would ride the van, and we would cross a bamboo bridge, and they were just building that bridge during that time. And people are carrying. They're building the road, and people are carrying the stones and mortars, and then trying to lay it out on the road. So, corollary for that, if you look on how they built their road system, it's also the start of building you know, the medical side, the surgical uh, building of Myanmar. It's just so sad that, after the coup, after, the army came again, and then, closed down the country again. So it's just quite sad. It's a big setback for the country. So I tried to look on what other countries. I think Pakistan. Pakistan has doing a lot of surgical advances, and in terms of how they treat their patients, even for anesthesia. And I think Sajid can actually, attest to what Pakistan has been, achieving for the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been going amazing. Like in bariatric, in hernia,
Mm,
I remember I established a first hernia chapter in Pakistan already, last to last
mm,
year. So there was no hernia society in Pakistan. It's not yet registered with with the Pakistani council because there is like loads of ban going on at the moment. Once it would be registered, would be, yeah. So
And
would be
I
launched.
think a big factor on that one would be the support of the government.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
decentralization, the implementation of their
Tec-
program for each
Technically,
government
yeah,
hospitals. I think that's one
absolutely.
that we all know.
Rules.
Countries
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
Pakistan, Philippines,
Yeah,
the corruption is quite big. It's a
yeah,
big
yeah.
issue. But
Absolutely, absolutely.
decentralization of all the, even for procurement of, I read from one newspaper where the support of the health ministry, and then the decentralization where hospitals can actually procure their own depending on their needs, I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
big leap and bound.
yeah, yeah,
In,
yeah.
in
And I
uh,
think that come into the equity, like when we talk about the providing in a private healthcare system, when we can do a TEP and TAPP for the hernia in a private sector, why we cannot offer to a fit candidate in a government setup? So that is the role of the when I came back after my fellowship from the ELSA. So I did my first TEP in a government hospital. That was the first TEP in any government hospital even. So that is Nijra Hospital, Lahore, exactly the same hospital you visited. So I did it, we did it, and then we kept on doing it until I left. But that is the thing. So do you think that the equity would come in the future in every country in terms of providing surgery? When we say when we go to come to UK or USA, we talk about the open or laparoscopic inguinal hernia. So lap TEP or TAPP is considered as like a standard. Doesn't matter if you are a private or a government or in a service hospital. It's same. Do you think that we are achieving this goal in Asia, and how far we are?
I think,
mm,
I mean, you do.
Bimal.
Okay. So if you look at Asia, again, uh, the data all is skewed towards the West, saying that laparoscopy is the gold standard for hernia. If you look at parts of Asia, even in Malaysia also, I think 80% of hernias are probably still being done by open surgery, and I'm sure Pakistan, Philippines, or Nepal is not so far off, you know.
Yeah.
So, of course, we aspire to promote laparoscopy, and maybe in the future there'll be more and more surgeons doing it. The numbers will rise, but at this moment in time, I think a good open surgery for hernia. This is what we were taught when we were junior surgeons. A good open surgery is as good as do one surgery, do it well, and you will get good results. This is what our seniors told us. So to a certain extent, that is still true. Of course, we talk about tailoring and all that. But if the expertise is not available, then you really can't tailor much. So you still have to
Absolutely.
provide service. So that's where we are in Asia. Of course, the long-term achievements will come in time. For the short term, I think we also must take it upon ourselves to train people to do proper open surgery, mesh based or tissue based, these things also have to be in tandem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but a lot of these procedures are also industry driven. So you have to
Yes.
look, even in the first world countries, adoption
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
laparoscopy for hernia is quite low. It's not, that's why the popularity of robotics for hernia has been, surging. Not because of uh, uh, everyone's doing
Yeah.
MIS in those countries, but adoption of each technique would also be dependent on how easily can they adapt to that technique.
Forget MIS, they are going towards robotic
Yeah.
surgery for hernia,
Yeah.
simple
Yeah.
inguinal
Only
hernia.
We got a
robotic only.
same. We have a question from the audience, from a trainee, Jin Jun, asking about the trainees in many centers here still don't get enough exposure to laparoscopy, while in Europe, USA, robotic surgery is a fast and is becoming the standard of care, as we said, and many go straight to it. Do you see that the same trend is happening in Asia?
Actually, it's already happening.
Hmm.
I was in Korea for their robotic society meeting 2 months ago. So I was surprised to see. I was speaking to a hepatobiliary surgeon, and he was presenting on Whipples, robotic Whipples. So I asked him, "Did you like move on from open to lab to robotic?" He said, "No, no, I never did lab. Too difficult. Straight to robotic." And the number of young surgeons presenting papers on robotic thyroid surgeries in Korea. So they have all they are the younger generation in Korea. They are bypassing laparoscopy. You know,
Hmm.
so of course their standard and the where they are in their development is different. So not everyone will have the same trajectory. So in the normal part of Asia, you know, it will still be open to lab, and robot will be a mirage.
Yeah,
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 I agree.
yeah, yeah.
So just adding to that, I mean, if I see in terms of my country what ELSA has done, I mean, the ELSA has made a lot of changes in the management of the hernia. I mean, I work in the government sector, and you, Prof. Allen and Prof. David, Prof. Vimal, you have visited our country. So that impart a lot of changes in the management of hernia. Not only the infiltration of MIS, plus the managing the complex hernia also help a lot in this. Another point is now we are reaching into the very, very remote area just to operate a hernia for 1 day or 2 day. We go there, we with the team member in the hills and with all the team members. So we operate, we are helping people there also. So
Yeah.
that is from my side.
So that
Continue
the
with that.
local champions do.
Yeah.
They outreach program within their country. Then you find your own champions.
Yeah. So continuing with that, I mean the high cost as Prof. Vimal, you are Prof. Vimal and Prof. Ellen, you are doing a lot of robotic surgery. So how we can make a regional collaboration to adopt, I mean to progress in this area?
I think
Collaboration for.
Yeah, regional collaboration for these high cost surgical devices and implant, maybe, I mean, robot also.
Well, uh, you have to remember a lot of innovations and a lot of advances, especially in MIS, would always start with the industry. And industry would always be pushing their products to surgeons. So trying to get it into our own practice would always be dependent also on how much. For example, MIS, laparoscopy during the early times, there's a lot of, uh, the difficulty in trying to incorporate it into practice. But because of the evidence that shows the advantages for patients, it was accepted right away as the gold standard for the treatment of, especially for benign gallbladder diseases like your stones. But then again, because of innovation, we came up with robotic surgery. But looking on how much a robotic, a robot would cost us, not only in terms of maintenance, maintaining a robot is quite expensive. It's very prohibitive. Uh, for example, in Daran, would you be able to come up with a one robot system and then coming up with, so those are the things that you need to contend with. It's like a balancing act in terms of how much can this benefit my patient and how much can it, one technological advance pull the system down. So you have to remember these are the things that we need to. It's like remember there's a I remember the debate that we had. It's like debating using a Ferrari with a Toyota. So from point A to point B, you'll always reach the same point, right? One can be faster, the other one can be slower, but you'll always achieve the same result.
you don't need a Ferrari to go to the corner shop.
Yeah. So it's always a story of what's the pros and the con
Yeah.
for this one. I think that's the but if it shows you a good advantage for patients, then obviously the adoption of that procedure or that technology would be faster.
I have input on this. how to compete, in economically challenged countries. So if you look at Asia, we have many giants, superpowers even. Okay. Previously, there was monopoly, especially in robotics. Costs were very high and controlled. Now you have giants of Asia producing these robots. Okay, we are just a matter of time away from competition, free market. If you look at laparoscopy, the towers, China, India, they are all producing these towers. So instead of going towards the west, look east. You will get cheaper equipments, tower, hand instruments, meshes, staplers, all are available. Soon to be robots will come from they are already coming from the east. Okay. So they will be the biggest challenge for Europe or America. Okay, Asia. And we are the biggest growing robotic region. Asia Pacific is the fastest growing robotic field, and general surgery has now superseded urology and gynae. Okay, so change is inevitable. The only way to drive down costs is, to me, is to look east. This may become inevitable. So the bigger countries in Asia, they have to start thinking of how to develop across the board. And the most important thing is to drive costs down.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think we are now moving towards the closure, just last of couple of questions. So we have to talk about multiple dimensions. We have spoken about the technology, we have spoken about the equipment, we have spoken about the guidelines. So we are leading into the Asia in providing global education as we talk about globally as sister societies. What is the single metric we can say in 10 years time we in Asia, the global surgery we are leading? Like what would be the criteria to say in 10 years time, if we achieve this thing, we can say that we have achieved the global target in surgical education?
Well, if say in 10 years' time, anyone from anywhere in Asia has access to surgical service within an hour or two from his home, and the cost of which doesn't ruin him financially, then we have reached that.
Yeah. What do you think, Prof. Alan?
Very true.
Yeah. What do you think, Prof. Alan? What do you think?
Very true. I agree with Vimal. I think in 10 years' time, if people from, let's say, Lahore or Cambodia would have the same treatment and the same surgical procedure that is being done in Singapore, in Korea, with the same amount of, it would bury them. It won't bury them when they're avail of that procedure. Then I think, it's like saying if everything else is equal and all the people would have the same, uh, the same quality, the same services that's being offered in the United States, in Europe, then I think we've achieved uh, the goal.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree.
Not only in surgery,
Yeah,
in medicine, in medical terms, if
yeah.
we have, yeah, if people would have the same access to health services,
Mm.
then I think we would achieve that goal.
Yeah, yeah. And I would like to hand over my mic to Rakesh, but before that, just a single question to both of you for a single message to the community, to the world regarding global education in surgery in Asia. What message you would like to give to the world in providing what we are doing, especially in ELSA in Asia?
Join ELSA. We will come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What do you say, Prof. Alan?
Yeah, I think as a society, we give them the platform on how they'll be able to, uh, push themselves to do more, to be able for them to, develop themselves as a person, as a surgeon, and technically give them the platform for them to improve. Give them also the, the encouragement. Looking these young surgeons now, if they look at us, we're dinosaurs now. I consider myself as a dinosaur. David is already a dinosaur. In a few years' time, we'll be done, right? So as I said earlier, we have already planted the seeds, and hopefully, people like Rakesh, people like Sajid, would continue on, cultivating that seed and be able to reach out to the younger surgeons now and give them the, the encouragement, the and to lead. I think you, as the young surgeons, would actually be the future of ELSA. It's not us anymore. I think
Without you, or without Prof. Davide, Asim, Vimal, everyone,
I think
we cannot be
we've
anything.
done.
I also want to send out a message to all the senior surgeons out in Asia. If you're a leader in your field, join the outreach program because it's the same old guys going everywhere. We need more and more people, and you will find that it's quite fulfilling. Make new friends, see new places, enjoy some adventure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think here we come to the conclusion of this talk. I would like to invite Rakesh to say thanks to both of the distinguished guests and give a closing remarks, and then we can move on.
Thank you, Sazik. So again, it's a teamwork. I mean, the things which I learned from my mentor, like Prof. Lomento, Prof. Ellen, I would like to impart to help my society. If I help my society, definitely it will help my country. If it will help my country, it will help our Asian subcontinent. So that is the way to go ahead as the team member, and definitely teaching, training, and research. These are the three area of focus. That is our goal. Definitely, there are large number of inequality in terms of finances and other things which we can talk for the whole day. But focusing these three goals: teaching, doing research, and doing some of academic work, will definitely the way to go ahead in the long term. And definitely it can help our society, our country, and our subcontinent. So I would like to thank Professor Vimal and Professor Ellen for joining me and Sajid here. And definitely these are these episodes will continue in the future, which help of our ELSA IT team, and definitely Professor Lomanto will giving a lot of input in this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thanks for the.
Rakesh. I think this
Have a
was
good
not
weekend.
yeah. This was not a strategy. This was not a simple interview. I think that was a strategic talk.
Yeah.
We got some directions, new direction for the future. What we are lacking into the global education, I think we can give a proposal in the end. Like we talk about the guidelines we can make, and when we are going to the outreach programs, so we can start working on, even in 10 years time, or even 5-year time, or in 2-year time, if we got something in our hand to give, like a leaflet or a brochure or a QR code, like, okay, onto the background is a full thing, just this QR code into the meeting. Okay, scan this one for hernia, scan this one for the bariatric surgery. That will give you the insight. So
I think
we
it's
got
high time.
yeah,
High time to do.
yeah, I think we can talk about it. So that is something we are missing. So again, thank you, Prof. Amal, Prof. Alan, Rakesh. Thank you. We'll come up with a
Yeah.
new episode, and
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Ellen, you're going to Delhi?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you there.
When are you arriving?
I'm leaving. I am there on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.